Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I would like to share with you a beautiful attacking game played by Mikhail Tal against David Bronstein. As you know, both players were creative geniuses whose games were always filled with energetic attacks and mind-boggling sacrifices. And when such players face each other, one can always expect an uncompromised battle. This game was played in 1973 in Moscow, and now let's see what happened on the board. Tal opened up with e4 and Bronstein responded with d6, d4, knight f6. Bronstein goes for this hypermodern Pirc defense, which is a solid opening but allows white to gain attacking chances, and taking into consideration the fact that with the white pieces is playing Mikhail Tal, allowing him organize an attack is not a good idea. Knight c3, g6, bishop g5. In this line, white is usually playing queen d2, is castling queenside, and then later is going for the exchange of dark squared bishops in order to weaken black's kingside. Here black has several options, can either play bishop g7 or knight d7 or c6. In our game we have c6. Here comes knight f3, bishop g7, queen d2, bishop g4, and we have it castling queenside. h6, black pawn is occupying this important h6 square, but once white's dark squared bishop retreats back, already castling kingside is becoming problematic because this pawn is always under target. b5, meanwhile Bronstein is starting his counterplay on the queenside, bishop d3, a6, rook e1. Tal is bringing his rook on this important e-file and is unpinning the knight, and in some cases he can go, for example, for knight h4 or recapture on e5 with the knight, knight d7, and as black king is still in the center of the board, we have e5. White wants to open up the position and target black king. d5, which is a mistake by Bronstein. It was better to capture on f3 and then on e5. If bishop e4, then knight f6, and if d takes e5, then knight takes e4. And after the exchange of queens on d8, knight takes e4, black can capture on e5. Although white is a pawn down, but has a very active position, and all in all the players have equal chances. But in our game after e5 we have d5, and now comes knight h5. With this move Tal is targeting the pawn on g6. And another dubious move by Bronstein, c5. Well, this move allows knight takes d5 or knight takes g6, and honestly I can't understand what Bronstein had in mind when making this move. Instead it was better to play knight b6, although even in this case knight takes g6 is playable, or first playing b3 and then going for knight takes g6 is even stronger. But in our game we have c5, and there it goes, knight takes g6 is on the board. By the way, as mentioned above, knight takes d5 is also playable, and actually you can't win this knight by knight takes d5 and then queen takes d5, because there is always this bishop b5 check and white is winning. But in our game Tal chose this hyper aggressive knight takes g6 move, and now let's see what's going to happen next. Bishop takes g6 check is on the board, king f8, and we have it, knight takes d5, knight c6, f3, bishop e6, and knight f4, bishop g8. This time we have queen d3. Tal wants to play queen f5 check, e6, and queen e4. This time Tal wants to bring his queen on f4 square, knight e7, rook d1. The threat is d takes c5, queen b8, and this time we have knight h5. White is freeing the f4 square for his queen, knight d5, and d takes c5. Queen takes e5 was played, but even if knight takes e5, then in this case bishop d4 is winning. The threat is knight takes g7 followed by bishop takes e5. In our game we have queen takes e5, and there it goes, bishop d4 is on the board. Black's position is totally lost. Now if queen takes e4, then white can first capture on g7 and then on e4, and it's over. White is winning. Let's go back, but in our game after bishop d4, Bronstein announced a check from g5, and in here Tal simply played f4 and black resigned. Right now both the queen is hanging and also the bishop on g7. If you move away your queen, then bishop takes g7 check is coming. and white is winning. That's why after f4 Bronstein resigned. This is move 24 and we have a resignation. Another very beautiful and instructive game by the magician from Riga. Although Bronstein played terribly, but the way Mikhail Tal managed to make use of his opponent's mistakes was simply astounding. In the end, as usual, would like to ask you to solve a chess puzzle. Please take a look at this position and try to find the mating line for white. I will wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. If you liked this game, give the thumbs up. For more games, consider subscribing to my channel. Also, press the bell button to get notified about new uploads. I will see you in my next video. Take care.